Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of my McLaren Return to Glory. Now today we're here for another episode and this is the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Now then, let's talk about the last race really quickly. Zandvoort. Spoiler warning, go check it out, link in the top right. It was a very tough race. An incident which potentially took away a podium and also just general recording issues, the game not running well. I wasn't really focused, I was a bit distracted. So I'm looking to bounce back here this weekend in Monza. Having said that, this isn't the best track for me, so this could be a struggle. Zandvoort, in a way, may have been a shot in the foot in terms of the championship. That might have just ruined my season. Either way, we'll see what happens in this race and the races to come. For now though, you can see in the background we took care of a durability department event, we then took care of upgrades, and we're going to go for another major chassis upgrade which is going to really help us out. We also get confirmation of the ultimate chassis upgrade which we had to repurchase arriving on the car this weekend, along with another aerodynamic upgrade for the Venturi tunnel. So the forecast is dry, and that's good news. As for the upgrades, we've got 2 of them on the car this weekend, and that moves us into 4th place, and we are pretty much there with Red Bull, Aston Martin and Mercedes-Benz. Regardless of being on reduced R&D points, we are in the fight. So, as you can see, we finished P9 in Zandvoort. It was a good result considering what happened and the recovery, but we could have got a podium, and that could have kept the momentum going from the last few races. Instead, we settled for P9, it's a couple of points, Lando finished P10, and it wasn't the best day in the office for us as a team. So, yeah, anyway, we go through practice. The car feels good, we've got a time trial set up on, the best leaderboard lap time is on the car on PC. I made some small tweaks for wings and whatnot, but for the most part, it's looking pretty decent. We've got good tyre wear and decent fuel consumption, but the big thing this weekend is, I noticed in practice, this circuit is the ideal perfect circuit for the AI, and you guys know I've kind of shown my frustrations recently. The AI are becoming a bit too overpowered. Now I can race on 110, I can beat them on 110, but when I tell you I can race esports guys, and I'm talking about these AI would beat esports guys, that's when I mean they're a bit extreme. Now I've got no problem with AI being better than me. I've got a problem with AI being better than me in an unrealistic way. Now these AI are designed to be very good in traction and top speed, which also, if you combine traction zones, this track, in theory, is the ideal recipe for AI performance to be as strong as possible. So that's what we're up against in this episode, and the practice lap times confirmed it. I finished P20 and last in practice, which was a massive red flag. So qualifying time, we're going to see if maybe with the soft tyres and a bit of a setup adjustment I can crack on, or if we are really in trouble. So moment of truth, up to the line, and it's P9, which is not too bad, but we're behind Albon and Magnussen, which are regular Q1 eliminations. I went for a second attempt, first sector up by 2.5 tenths, so a good start. Lost a bit of time for the chicane at 4 and 5, but still up by a tenth or so, making our way through the Lesmos, keeping that advantage going. Lesmo 2 though, I went a bit too early. Got some understeer, too much inside curb, washed up wide, understeered off the track and bottomed out, so we lost the advantage. Now, back to the garage, P14, we're safe by a couple of tenths, but the big issue is Lando is P2 and a second faster than me on a 16.299, which was a massive red flag because that first lap didn't have a lot of time left in it. So for now, let's focus on getting that Q1, that's the main target, then we'll deal with Q2 and Q3 if it were to arise, but this is the pressing matter. So turn 1, braking just after the 100, down a third, flick it right, flick it left, and crucial here to get a nice bit of traction. To be fair, this was my best first chicane of the entire weekend, really hooked it up beautifully with the brake bias, got the car rotated and got the traction down. Sector 1 split, and we're nearly 4 tenths up on Magnussen. Second chicane brake just after the 100, 4th gear, flick it left right, and try to avoid the inside curve of the right-hander of 5. Lesmo 1, stay tight and let the car run out wide, carry that speed as we then head into Lesmo 2, this time turning in a bit later, getting the exit and right by 2 and a bit tenths. So a pretty decent lap so far, no real mistakes made. My big time loss is sector 3. Still 3 tenths up on Magnussen as we head our way into the Ascari chicane. Could have taken a bit more inside curb through the first apex, but still we get a nice line through there, get a decent exit, and keep our advantage. Into now the final corner, Parabolica. 50-meter wall, brake on it, if not just after it, down a 5th gear. Don't touch the inside curb, just caress the apex and try to get the exit and also carry the corner speed, which is key around here. Up to the line, P11 with a 16.9. That will move us into Q2. We've got a couple of grid drops for Magnussen and Zhou. So yeah, we got through by a couple of tenths. We did have to go out again and improve. Our original lap wouldn't have been good enough, so we had to go out again. And yeah, we're into Q2. So happy days. 8 tenths off the best time, which isn't terrible, but it becomes worse when you realise the gap to my teammate is pretty much the same thing. So Q2 then, I am using a used set of tyres for this first run, as I only have one fresh set left, and we do a 17.2, so a couple of tenths off what we just done at the end of Q1, and we're P14 at the time. Now you can see we're out of qualifying. I am not going to find 7 tenths to Oscar Piastri in P11. The best I can hope for is P12. That's exactly what I'm going to aim for on this lap. This is our last set of tyres. So we're going to send it, give it everything, and if I can get like a 16.8, 16.7, that would be the best I can hope for.
That's just 30 seconds left in the session.
And pretty much that is the ultimate goal. So we'll try again. So down to turn 1, you want to try and spot the 100, like I said before. That's the key point. Brake just after it with these brakes and these upgrades. But I just overcommit. I carry way too much speed. I brake way too late. And with the 55 brake bias, I lock the rears and spin. So with that, qualifying is dusted. So Bottas 15.8 and the eventual pole time was at 15.6. I'm sitting on a 17.2, losing 1.6 seconds. I have no idea how the AI are doing these lap times. This is by far the most ridiculous case of, I understand it's 110 AI and I understand you shouldn't always beat them, but we have the 4th best car on the grid. My teammate is 1.2 seconds faster in the same car. And it's ridiculous how fast they are in certain ways of driving. And this is the worst possible circuit for me and the best possible circuit for them. Big traction zones, acceleration, and top speeds. And somehow they have all of this and they don't lose any corner speed. So there is no trade-off. There's nothing you can do on setup to compensate. So yeah, qualifying done. Let's get to the race and let's send it and turn it around.
A difficult race awaits these drivers here in Monza, but glory awaits too at the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds up to 215 and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the turn 1 chicane. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Ocon, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Martinez, Tsunoda, Albon, Sargent, Zhou, Théo Pourchaire, De Vries, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me, as usual, for today's race. They've been involved in a number of costly incidents lately. That's got to affect their mindset going into this race.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
Okay, here we go then. Time for the race at Monza. Now, one thing I've learned from my first league race last night, which I'll post on Thursday, is that the medium tyre is the best race tyre in this game. So we're going to save it until later on. We're going to try and experiment and see if that is the case. We're going to start on soft tyres and see if we can make those work. Fuel-wise, I've learnt my lesson from Zanvil and the practice programs. 3 laps extra fuel, which is quite high, but I'm respecting the kilograms which were stated in the race sim strategy program. So we're going to give that a go as well and see how it works out. As for the rest of the setup, I'm wondering what to do, what to go for. I'm actually going to keep the higher wing that I ran in my last qualifying run. The rest of the setup, I'm going to also keep the same. I'm going to make a small adjustment on tyre pressures. So we're going to just pump the rears up a little bit to improve rear tyre wear. And we'll let the fronts down a little bit as well to balance them out. Brakes, I'm going to go 56 to start, but I'll probably dip to 55. But yeah, besides that, we're ready to go. We've got nothing to lose. I don't seem to have pace. I'm just going to send it, give it everything, and see if we can turn it around. So guys, like the episode. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. Subscribe for more. And prediction down below. Do you think we can turn this one around? Zanvil was a big kick in the nuts, so we got to try and fight back today. So let's get into it. Right, let's do this. Let's try and use the soft tyre. Lights are on. And away we go. Not my best start. Bottas, though, gets away poorly. Those are mediums, just struggling in general to get away. Oh my god, almost lost my wing there. I was trying to get on the brakes as much as I could without breaking an end plate. And we just got away with it. Good start though, P10.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
You could see already there, just an acceleration, how we got destroyed. Going to send it on Lewis, who's on mediums, and also it is a Merc, so if we can put the Mercs back, that would be ideal for the championship, obviously. Ocon up ahead on mediums as well, so we'll try and target him, but you can see the AI seem very quick here. Keeping on the deltas, and you'll see what I mean. I'm using the ERS, I'm using battery, and I've lost 2/10 on this straight. It's insane how strong the AI are around here, and it's only going to get worse the more closer to a maxed out car we get. Big battles ahead though, it's going to be a constant. Lando has broken away on his own, which is exactly what we'd want. Hopefully Lando can win the race, that would be some valuable points. Meanwhile, Hamilton flies off the final corner. I'm using all the battery I can, but now you can see at VMAX we hold up fine. Not even using the battery, we're good. But in acceleration we get completely destroyed. Into turn 1, almost running into the back of Piastri. A little bit of contact there. Not sure if I got damage.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Had to get out of it there. Yellow flag, I couldn't overtake. Maybe now we can challenge. And go to the outside. And we're going to get Ocon as well. Super aggressive. Overtake there. We've got a bunch of cars on mediums ahead as well. So far, we're punching above our weight. You can see we don't have any pace. We're just losing too much on acceleration. But, crucially, we're able to make up for it by just simply having some decent race IQ and letting the AI battle and then knowing when to overtake and pass. Look at the gap Norris has got. It speaks volumes. If you get clear racetrack, you can put away so much. Here comes Ocon. It's going to be a constant battle this race. They are using their batteries. We're going to send it back up the inside, I think. Ocon tries to turn in, still tries to turn in. We're not going to let him have it. Going to keep using the battery here.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Down to turn 1. It's a beautiful move on the brakes. Around the outside of Ocon there. Let's see if we can try and clear Leclerc. No longer our rival. We lost that rivalry. Instead, actually, Leclerc challenging Verstappen again, although Verstappen moves across. And so does Leclerc. Oh my god, that was borderline. You can have some of that back. More contact. Really flirting with the limits. We are going to miss out on DRS and Verstappen here as well because of that. Shades of 2019 when Leclerc squeezed Hamilton.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Right. Let's see if we can try and get in Verstappen's DRS. So I've got DRS on max, but Leclerc is right there. I'm also running a bit low on battery now, so I won't force to use it. Leclerc goes through. Ocon now fighting back. We're going to box him in using Leclerc. Trying to brake as late as possible. Around the outside we go. Just got to try and see if we can pull away and let that AI battle amongst themselves. Leclerc back for more. I simply cannot shake them off. The drive they get off of every single corner and every single exit they get is just ridiculous. Still, we're in Verstappen's DRS now, so I'm not going to use battery. I'm going to see if I can try and save in this phase of the race where we're locked in with this battle constantly with other cars. You can see at VMAX, we're actually pulling away. It's just the acceleration phase. It's ridiculous. Run the outside again, just going to keep repeating the sequence, but we stay ahead of Leclerc for now. What we need is a nice big battle between the cars behind so that they all lose time. But no DRS, Leclerc will breeze past, so we'll let him go. Ocon won't be far behind. And there he goes. He's got to try and be smart and not waste too much time battling and breaking DRS trains. The battle for Q2 is still on, that train ahead being led by Pierre Gasly, but look how ridiculous that is. I know I'm not using battery, but it's just so easy. I can't wait to see the back of this track. I really can't. Whoa, Hamilton with the lunge out of nowhere. Oh my god, the back end just went all of a sudden. What the hell was that all about? My rear's getting hot. I wasn't even pushing. Oh, there goes all the hard work. One simple mistake and back down to P12. But still, the race is wide open. It's just one big train all the way to P2 here. I definitely think we're in the better strategy, so an early stop onto a medium to try and undercut this train will be the way to go, and then we'll be on the better race tyre, which could maybe help us get to the front of the train. For now I'm just holding on the back of this. There's enough time loss in the brake zones that we're catching up and keeping up. One of the Red Bulls has broken away, so someone's managed to break free of this incredible scrap, which is just so time consuming. If I knew the mediums were going to make it to the end, I'd probably box for them, but I don't know if they're going to make it. But this is just time wasting now, like crazy. Screw it, I'm going to go for it. Listen, worst way to the safety car obviously later on the race gets neutralised, but I feel like I can gain a lot right now by pitting for a medium and trying to undercut all of these guys. Not particularly fast in general pace, but when it comes to braking zones, I'm just going to gain so much time compared to the AI's constant squabbles as we get crossed up into the pit entry there. Hopefully no damage. I think I did hit the wall. Nice clean stop, please. Lovely. Best in the business. Right, new medium. Let's push on then. We've got a full charge. Let's just do our own race, drive our own pace.
Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound.
But this is the key phase of the race. We might be struggling at the end, but if I get enough of a gap, we might be okay. I've just got to clear all that chaos. If I can just clear that, we may be okay for the rest of the race. I mean, look at Lando. P2's out the window. That Red Bull that broke free now has broken free, so P3 is the target this race. This tyre feels really good.
We're currently trailing our teammate by 40.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're in first. Time last lap was a 1:19.9.
And we did a 19.1. Right, this is good stuff, good pace. Let's see if we can make some inroads. Right, there we go. Cars starting to pit. Mainly, well, not back markers, but those who are further back. Hulkenberg was quite close to us, so this would give us a good reference. You can see the difference in gap now compared to before. The gap was like 2 seconds. He was behind me. Now we're a postcode ahead. Right, one of the Aston Martins are in. This will be a good reference. More of the slower runners also pit. So let's see where we are in reference to the lean green racing machine. Oscar Piastri there. Still hasn't left the pit exit. I don't think we've gained as much as I'd like, but the longer some of those ahead stay out whilst in a battle, that helps. 2 more cars broke away in the meantime, a Ferrari and I think Gasly in the Alpine. Look at the gap to Piastri, 6 seconds. Let's see, more cars ahead yet to pit. Right then, this is the lap where some of the big boys are going to be in, so this will be a proper reference to see where we're at. Lando has already pit and rejoined in, I believe, a net P2, using a little bit more battery now. Hamilton choosing the hard tyre, which is interesting. It's going to be close here on pit exit, but we're going to be ahead of Ocon and Sainz. I think they were running in that battle for P3. So we've still managed to undercut them. So I think right now we're net P3 once everyone stops. Ocon signs on hard tyres as well. So we might still have an advantage over those and still more cars yet to box. Ocon very strong. First impressions from his pace. More cars are in. So this is going to move us into P4. And once Perez pits, it will be net P3. So my prediction was correct. And my undercut has worked. We've jumped everyone. So now we'll see if it was worth it and if the tyres can hold up until the end of the race. That's the big question now. Right, Ocon's going to have DRS. They're just simply way too strong in corner exits. I'm pushing as hard as I can. I've got no more pace in this. Perez now pits, so this will move us into podium positions. And at this point now, it's all about race management. We've already got 3 cars behind who are near us. Ocon, Sainz and Leclerc. Or Piastri, I'm not sure which one it is, but from this point on, it's all about management. We're not in that thick pack of multiple cars. We're only battling a couple of guys here. So if we can just manage this and make the right moves at the right time, we can manage our race and hopefully get a decent result. Right, Ocon's going to walk past here. He's had a poor exit out of the second Lesmo to be fair, but he'll still get me easily with DRS. I'm trying to just manage the battery levels. We'll see if we can just sit behind Ocon and follow him and basically not waste any time or cost anyone any time. That's the most efficient way to race around here. Sainz will most likely join the battle along with Piastri, and then it's about just trying to keep things clean and not lose time to fall into the battle behind. That way we still have a chance at a podium. This is the best position to be in though. You can see though, we get absolutely wrecked mid-corner and exit. There's no way to fix this on setup. You can't just lower the wing because I'll struggle even more in the corners, which I'm already terrible at. And I can't increase the wing because I'll get wrecked even more on the straights. There's no way to fix this issue. I will bring it up because it's been a case for every single F1 game now and it's ruining the experience with modified cars once the upgrades go on.
Green flag, we're racing again, let's go.
Something behind. Mercedes out the race. That's big for the championship. Just hope there's no safety car. Not today, not this race. I don't need it.
Some information on Russell for you. They're retiring from the race.
We needed it in Zandvoort. Not today. And I think the stewards are going to respect my request. I'm just about hanging on to Ocon here, by the way, and keeping Sainz out of range, but I'm using battery, so we're not going to have an endless supply. We're going to run out soon.
Overtaking through the yellow flags.
Well, there's Russell's car stricken. Sainz is now in my DRS. Just unable to shake him off, and he's probably going to get the run on me through here. I'm not particularly great. I might actually just let him go. See if he can battle with Ocon, and we'll try and fight back. I mean, I'll take a P5 right now, or P6. I mean, it's not a bad recovery. I simply can't match up, and the hard tyre will probably have better grip at the very end of the race. I've been on these tyres for a long time already, so we're going to be at disadvantage. The key thing is not losing time to the cars behind, especially Hamilton, and I'm making sure Lando wins this race. Here comes Piastri. I'm not going to fight. I'd rather have a full charge. That's going to be really valuable at the end. I'm starting to struggle on rear tyres now, which is a key factor around here, but you can see I just don't have the front end either to match up. I'm just struggling everywhere now. So it's going to be about surviving. My hope is that the 3 cars in front start to battle now in these closing laps. The cars behind are too far back, so now we're in a safe zone where these 3 could battle, and all we've got to do is basically stay in the fight and then be smart, and we can probably still get them back if they battle the way I hope for. Another yellow out of the Ascari chicane. Alfa Romeo this time out of the race. Please no safety car.
Some information on Magnussen for you. Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Yep, happy with that. Still can't quite catch Ocon. He's just keeping a gap. Here we go then. Piastri has now caught Ocon, and they're going to battle down to turn 1. Just got to hope for Sainz to get involved and make it a 3-car scrap, and this might actually work out now. Right, this is it now. These 3 are going to scrap pretty heavily, and they're going to use their batteries. You can see Ocon giving Piastri a huge squeeze. The Alpine's got some very strong straight line speed. Very, very strong. And because they're battling, they're going to lose time into the corners, and we can catch them back up in the braking and not
That's just 5 laps of fuel remaining.
and not have to use any battery. You can see Piastri there swerving, trying to find a way through. Just got to wait now for the right time to strike. Got to try and leave it as late as possible so that I can pull away and stay ahead. Look at this. Look at this. It's going to kick off. But Ocon's holding his own without DRS, man. That Alpine's got some speed. Piastri has gone through. And now Ocon back through. Sainz isn't that quick. I'm going to just hold on to DRS here, I think. Got to try and stay close here in case it kicks off again. We'll use a little bit of battery. I managed to save as much as I could, but yeah, we've just held on to DRS. We need one more little 3 wide, and that might be the chance, which could be now. Next chance we get, we've got to go for it. Simple as that. This could be it right here already, to be fair. Got to try and get in a position where I can split them, get amongst them. Here we go. A bit Sainz. Not sure if I'll be able to stay ahead. He might get me back, so we're going to have to use battery. But there's a podium mistake, and I want to take it, especially with Lando P1. This is where I might suffer. Going to have to use everything. Okay, we're good. Piastri, Ocon now going for it. Piastri unable to go through. This is going to set things up beautifully for us. Sainz has a poor exit. Right, this could be the one. Nice little big lift. We've got as much battery as we need for this last lap. The AI are going in full power themselves. Take no prisoners. And we're just going to go for it. Not sure who's going to get DRS here, but we're going to go back through. And this is for the podium. Sainz is going to follow me through here. I'm going to stay on the inside because the AI tend to go for reckless dives when defending or attacking. We get hit in the rear, I think. But we go through. They're side by side right now, so this is our chance to break on the last lap. Let's go. Tyres are holding up. 60% left rear. Right, here we go. Sainz closing with DRS. Lando's going to win. Just got to make sure my exit here is good. Yellow flag. That's behind. On the last lap.
Okay, clear.
Sainz to the outside. But we've got the energy saved up to hold our own. Now we've just got to try and get the exit here. We got done at the line in Zandvoort by Bottas. We need to avoid that happening again. Yes, finally.
Yes, nice work, mate. You did a really good job today. Pretty sure the boss is going to be happy with that one.
What a fantastic Grand Prix that was, and an excellent win for McLaren. What do you think it was today, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
I'm gassed. I'm very, very gassed. Happy with that race. What a result. And we had no right getting P13, but that early pit stop was the way to go. I could just see they were losing too much time battling. It happens every time here. So you have to get out of that kind of vicious cycle and you'll have a much better race for it, even if you don't have the pace. So yeah, race management on point. The 3 cars that I thought would battled, and we managed our battery correctly and we got the job done. So in terms of IQ, this was one of the better races. We got everything nailed down to a T. Lando wins, which is awesome. So after Zandvoort, which we should have had many more points, possibly a podium at least, and a bit of chaos and just some issues, recording a smooth race, no issues, and we maximise an awesome result. So yeah, this is massive. Hamilton P7, Russell DNF, which is the big one. So Mercedes taking a big hit today in the championship. Elsewhere, Sergio Perez out the points, Leclerc only P10, Bottas only P8, so this is going to paint a really good picture for the championship, and you can see we move back into 5th place, only 6 points behind Verstappen, who finished ahead of us here today, only also 6 points behind Leclerc, also equal on points with Verstappen. Russell's lead gets cut with that DNF massively, but I mean Hamilton and George are still quite a way out front. Bottas a couple of points behind me, to be fair, 4 points behind. Sainz P7, a little bit further back. Lando with that win up to P9, that's a big win, gets him ahead of Piastri and gets him only 9 points behind Checo and into the top 10. Constructors P4, we overtake Aston Martin, which is great, and we're now 5 points ahead of them, and we're 15 points behind Red Bull and 28 points behind Ferrari. So yeah, I'm really happy. What a result, a real shot in the arm, a nice morale boost. If we could have got a podium in Zandvoort, I think I wouldn't rule us out for the championship. I think that Zandvoort result might have just cost us a chance at the championship, realistically, but you never know, things could change. It's evolving constantly, but if we could have got, let's say, 10, 12 more points in Zandvoort, that would have gone a long way, because we've P3 quite comfortably right now. But anyway, it is what it is, guys. A great race. Like the video, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed it. That was a masterful performance and some great IQ in that one. And yeah, as always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already, guys. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and let's goodbye from me.